Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I got something really special for you. But before we get into that, I just want to make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if you guys are liking my videos. I'm, trying to crank out as much of these as I can. But without your help, we can get these videos onto the algorithm and get them out there for exposure so we can grow the channel. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, aside from that, let's jump into this video. So today I wanted to talk about the Houston Rockets, right? For the longest time, I've been a silent watcher of the Houston Rockets. I watch from afar and I don't know, I have like a weird intrigue with the team. But ever since losing James Harden a month ago, the Rockets have looked like a completely different team. Right before James Harden left the team, the Rockets looked totally trashed. They looked horrible and they were losing consecutive games. And part of this was because of James Harden, right? Who was sabotaging the franchise and losing games on purpose. So he was losing games on purpose and sabotaging the team because he wanted to perpetuate the narrative that he was overweight and he couldn't meld with the team and they couldn't work together, so the team would trade him. That's why he showed up to a game looking like he just ate 8 meals prior to the game. But that all boiled down and eventually, like we know now, they decided to move on from him. And after moving on from him, the Rockets started to look completely different, right? Him leaving the team and moving on from the team and going to a different team further perpetuated the narrative that the Rockets were washed up and they didn't have good players, and the players that they just gotten were old washed up players and he couldn't play with them. But I'm here to dispute that narrative. I don't think the Rockets are washed up at all. I think the Rockets are actually subtly good because the Rockets are on a mission to prove the doubters wrong. Here's what I mean by that. In the past 12 days alone, the Houston Rockets have gone on a 6-game winning streak, beating notable teams, right? It's not just scrub teams, notable teams like the Suns, the Mavericks, and the Trailblazers, right? Those are teams that are all playoff contender teams. And the reason they've been on a tear lately is because I think they have an innate burning desire to prove the doubters wrong. To kind of like stick it to James Harden, right? To prove to the doubters and say, hey, we're not washed up. We're still those elite players that you knew us to be, and we're gonna show you, right? As I'm making this video right now, the Rockets are sitting at the 9th spot in a tough Western Conference. Just one spot outside of the playoff contention. With all that success in the last few days, right, the Rockets only look poised to get better. They only look, they're gonna get better. And this is what I mean by that. They've been doing this, winning 6 consecutive games without one of their key players in Victor Oladipo, right? So Victor Oladipo has been out with a quad injury for about, 10, 12 days, around there. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's missed all that stretch of games that they've won consecutively, right? And he's no scrub. He's no scrub, he's a talented player, right? With them being able to go on this run without him just speaks to how good they really are, right? And when he comes back and they're at full strength, I'm intrigued to see what the Rockets are going to be. I'm really intrigued. Like, this is an under the radar team that nobody's paying attention to. And another thing, most people forget the Rockets are filled with 4 all-star caliber players. Those 4 all-stars being, of course, John Wall, a tremendous point guard, super athletic, a guy that can play basketball at an elite level. DeMarcus Cousins, we all know what DeMarcus is, right? Granted, DeMarcus isn't what he was in Sacramento, but I can attest that DeMarcus is at least 80% of what he was in Sacramento, and I can live with that. I like that. DeMarcus at 80% is still good, is still really good, is still elite. And Eric Gordon is a spot-up shooter, a sniper. Eric Gordon was to James Harden what Klay Thompson is to Stephen Curry. He was the spot-up shooter that you just give the ball to and it's automatic. He's just automatic. And he's a really good piece for your team, right? Any team in the league would be lucky to have this guy on the team, right? And finally, the last all-star, Victor Oladipo, of course. And I say he's the marquee player of all of them because he's the youngest, right? He's the youngest at 28 years old. All those other guys, right? People would say, oh, they're washed up, they are injury prone. But the oldest one is Eric Gordon at 32 years old, and John Wall is 30, and DeMarcus Cousins is 30. So they're not washed up or old at all. Like, they're still in their prime. 30 years old, you still got 3-4 good years in your prime that you could give to the team. Eric Gordon's got maybe 2 more years left in him. 2 really good solid years left in him. And Victor Oladipo, of course, is still in his prime, ready to go. You know, like he is ready to blossom, become a star at 28. And I think these four guys together can be something really special in the West. Furthermore, I like what the new head coach, Stephen Silas, is doing. I love it, right? So James Harden was not willing to give the new head coach, Stephen Silas, a chance to coach him. And I think he's proving to be a good coach. He is taking a page out of Mike D'Antoni's playbook. He's utilizing his personnel and optimizing them to play to the best of their abilities. And here's what I mean by that. The Rockets have always adopted the philosophy of high volume three-point shots. Shoot a lot of threes, right? This philosophy was first introduced to the league by, of course, the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors introduced shooting a lot of threes, and they kind of revolutionized the game that way. And then teams started to copy them. One of the teams that really wanted to copy the Golden State standard was the Rockets. Mike D'Antoni especially. It was triple the offense, half the defense, right? Shoot more threes and a lot of threes. And the Rockets over the years have put together pieces that complement that ideology. And Stephen Silas is using the personnel that he has that's been acquired over the years to further perpetuate this ideology and play that way. And I love it because that's what the Rockets were built to do. They have a bunch of shooters on their team, a bunch of sharpshooters on their team, and he is utilizing them, and it is working. Just last night, the Rockets did something the Rockets were never able to do with James Harden on the team, which was they made 28 three-pointers in a game, a franchise record. They couldn't do this with James Harden on the team, as good of a shooter as he is. So that tells me that this coach knows what he's doing. He knows the personnel he has. He knows what plays to call. He knows what to do. And I'm excited to see what he does in the future. And another thing is, DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall have heard the talk. Oh, they're washed up. They're not what they used to be. John Wall's not as athletic as he used to be. DeMarcus Cousins isn't as dominant as he used to be. And I can tell you right now, they hear you. They hear the haters. And there's one thing that they want to do the most: silence the haters, because these guys are competitors, right? These guys are athletes and they compete. They're ego-driven. So when you sit there and critique their game and say they're washed up, they're not what they used to be, guess what they're gonna wanna do? They're gonna work day and night to stick it to you, to prove you wrong. And I have no doubt that DeMarcus and John Wall can get it done. These two guys played together in Kentucky, right? They have chemistry between each other. I think over time, as they play together longer and longer, they'll start to rekindle that chemistry. It gets better and better. If they can somehow mesh that chemistry with the rest of the team, and Victor Oladipo can get his legs back to 100%, the Rockets are a team to reckon with in the West. Like, no joke, they're a team to reckon with in the West. I can see them being a trouble for a really good team in the West. I can see them being a trouble for a Utah Jazz, for Clippers, for a Lakers, right? I have no problems picking them as a dark horse to somehow upset somebody. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They're on a come up, they're flying under the radar, and I'm telling you right now, you guys need to take them seriously, you guys need to watch them closely, and I'm just excited to see what they do. I hope they keep this trajectory and they keep going, because they're gonna stick it to James Harden. Like, they really want to stick it to James Harden. Remember, when James Harden left, right before he left, both DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall went out there and they called him out. They said, there's a bunch of good guys here that play, good basketball. What's up with him, just blatantly sabotaging the team and not trying his best? And I think they have a fire in them to just prove everybody wrong. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and I want to see what they do. I'm excited for this new head coach. I'm excited for this new Rockets team. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys think it's all just a fluke? Do you guys think DeMarcus and John Wall are still washed up? Do you think Victor Oladipo cannot perform with all the injuries that he's had in the past? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.